Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters, and thank you for joining me for a Sketch Sunday 12 by 12 layout. So you can see there that I am using this super cute sketch from Page Maps. It is August 2017, so I've dug into the archives just a little bit for this one. But I specifically chose this layout, this sketch, because the papers you can see here that I'm using from Pinkfresh Studios, Case of the Blahs, it is literally all that I have left of this particular collection, and I'm busting to use up the last of these scraps with this layout and just get this done. I want to be able to put this collection to bed, so to speak, after this. So I am using all of the papers. This sketch was perfect. It gave me the opportunity to use as much of my papers that I had left as I could. So I had that quite large piece, 12 inches long and about, I think it's about 3 inches wide, that I could sort of use as a bit of a banner, a bit of a happy horizontal across the middle of my page. Then I had a 4x6 piece that is that black and white piece with the leaves and things on it that I've cut down into strips that I'm going to use to make the the bunting, the banners, the pennants, I guess you call them, these things now that I'm cutting 3 of those, and I'm going to use 2 on the black and white side and 1 on the checkered side. And then I had it's 12 inches long, but it was only about 2 inches wide of this screen stripe paper. So I managed to get 2 little tags out of it, the front side and the back side, and then the last little bits of scraps I am using again to create 2 more long, I still don't know what to call those pennants, of those banners. And then I had 1 more final piece of paper, and that is the writing paper that I am using to, I suppose, matte my photos on, but it's not an exact matte. It's a square that's a little bit big and a little bit small. It's taller than my photos, but it's not quite as wide as my photos. Gosh, I hope all of that made sense. I know this is a super quick video to be following along with. You can see there that is literally all of the ephemera that I have. 3 pieces of the ephemera are actually printables that don't go with the collection, and I end up not using those. I pop those aside for, I don't know, they might get tossed, they might be put in a different project, I'm not sure yet. And then there were also 3 more ephemera pieces that are actually about having a movie night or watching TV, so they won't really fit. But the other ones I think I can manage to fit on, because there's 2 pictures here that I'm using. One of me sort of starting to make a scarf, and it's not, I mean, in the picture it looks fine, but it wasn't quite right. I couldn't get it to stitch properly, and it wasn't just working. So I had a do-over, got a whole new thread and a whole new wool, and went at it again and actually completed the scarf the second time around. So over on the right-hand photo, I'm sort of doing mistakes are proof that I'm trying, and flaws, mistakes, imperfections, life, and give me a caffeine fix. And then over on the top left-hand photo, which is a picture of me wearing the scarf, I am doing the whole do-over, awkward as usual, I'm somewhere but not here, because it's also school holidays at the moment and I am escaping from the daily grind. So I decided this layout was looking sort of a bit flat. There were lots of paper layers, but the colours were lacking because a lot of these papers were all just black and white. So I went ahead and distressed the edges of the big 12-inch sheet, the house print that is sort of the base, the anchor, the block that I'm building this layout from. And then I got out my Hardy Swap Colour Shine in navy, and I'm splattering that on this kind of diagonal feel. And I also got a bright green colour. It is like a lime green, I think you'd call it. A citron, it is called. And I added that to the navy as well, just because I thought that might be a really nice colour to pick up the greeny yellow colour of the paper, because that's nearly the only colour that's on the whole thing. The kind of orangey coral colour that comes in with the ephemera ties in well with the colours in my photo, and then that's about it. So I'm going to layer all these up, just sticking everything flat to the page with double-sided tape at the moment. And it doesn't matter specifically what these banners look like hanging over the page, because they're going to get covered by the writing piece of paper that I use as sort of my photo anchor. I'm also going to distress that up as well. I'm not going to distress everything on the page, but these two I am going to distress. I'm just using my scissors. I do have a distress tool, but I don't find it's quite as easy to use as just getting in there with my scissors. So just decided to use those. I ummed and ahed about using that other side with the green scallop because it was just another splash of colour, but I decided the green wasn't really the right fit with what else was going on this page, so just stuck with the black and white text. It doesn't really matter what the black and white text says in this particular case, because you're not going to be able to read any of it. It's all going to end up being covered in some way or another. So I'm going to just pile on a bunch of these banners here. And this is just like what is depicted in the sketch by having all of these banners. The only time I really kind of deviate from the sketch is the placement of my clusters. I end up layering 3 banners up the top, which is similar to what is in the sketch, but for me, in my case, it was really just a matter of using up those papers. I really didn't want to have any papers left, and I'm not very good at throwing any away. So even though it would have been like this, practically a scrap, a 1-inch piece of rubbish, I struggle to throw that kind of stuff out. So I decided I would just add it on and layer it up. So it was a win for me. So I have literally used every single piece of paper that came in this collection, and I have 4 pieces of ephemera that I have mixed into my stash, probably to be used on a Project Live spread, maybe snuck onto a layout if I ever go and watch a movie. That won't be happening for a little while yet though, as we are still in lockdown. These photos themselves were taken in 2014, so they are not current photos. So they, even though they are about being at home and just locking myself down at home, that was by choice back when we were on school holidays and I enjoyed not socialising and seeing human beings. I decided the layout was still a bit flat. It needed something else as a bit of a pick-me-up. So I've gone ahead and pulled out some thread. And I'm just using a kind of brownie colour, a white and a coral. Really subtle. You don't super notice the different colours, but it's just a little bit of texture to help pop those clusters a little bit more. I'm just making sure that's all tucked in underneath the ephemera, but I haven't used any adhesive yet. So I'm going to go ahead and squeeze a little bit of glue in there and then make sure that ephemera piece is stuck down. The thread was a little bit bulky, so I'm actually going to weigh that ephemera piece down just a little with my glue, just to help hold it all in place while the glue just sets, goes a bit tacky. I also stuck down the 2 little threads that are coming out the top of the tags just to ensure they stay in place and stop flapping around and getting in my way. So now a bit more thread for this bottom cluster, same 3 colours. And then I am pretty much finished. So I will take you over to some close-up photos where you can see the actual layout a little bit slowed down and a little bit closer so that you can get a better idea of exactly how it looks. I will also link in the description box down below to the August 2017 page maps sketches. There is also an example on their page of this particular sketch. But the example didn't use as many paper layers as the sketch depicted or as I used, so it might be really nice for you to see both examples just to give you different ideas of how exactly you might incorporate this sketch into your scrapbooking. Thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you have been enjoying our Sketch Sunday series, and perhaps I have inspired you to get out some sketches to get some layouts done. They certainly are quick pages and help us get the work done.